Gascoigne, Chair of the Board of Directors of the Cleveland Institute of Art, and it's my pleasure to welcome you today to CIA's 2018 Commencement. This is a day of celebration and recognition for our graduating seniors, their friends and family, and indeed the entire CIA community. I look out over the graduating seniors and I see faces of many emerging artists that I've had the pleasure to get to know over their years here at CIA. And it's been a joyful experience to see you expand your creativity through the rigors of the liberal arts, your studio practice, community engagement, and your BFA thesis work. So be proud as we are of you. And today you will many times be congratulated on your accomplishment, and trust me, you deserve it, so relish the moment. Remember too, those whose love and support have gotten you to this milestone. We join you in thanking your parents, your family, and also the faculty for helping open your minds during your years here. As for the faculty, I'd like to take a moment to honor your dedication not only to your students, but to your craft. Not a week goes by that a member of the faculty isn't involved in an exhibition or receiving honors or accolades for their work or his or her discipline. And it is this demonstration of dedication to your practice that is your greatest gift you give to your students. Now I have the honor of introducing Grafton Nunes, who's president and CEO of the Cleveland Institute of Art. As leaders of an esteemed arts and design college, we are charged with maintaining and improving the physical plant, supporting long-term established arts programs in an ever-changing landscape, and most importantly, making sure that the investment that our students have made in an art and design education is a sound investment. Grafton has the temperament, tenacity to deliver on this promise. And we all know how much he works at CIA, but beyond that, the countless hours he puts in the greater Cleveland cultural community, supporting the arts in greater Cleveland. Grafton understands what is required, and as I say, once again, he delivers. So Grafton, at this point, I'll welcome you to the podium. Before I turn the podium over to you, I'd like to take a moment for a special celebration and recognition. As you know, many colleges and universities have what is known as a chain of office. And as the leader of CIA, you too deserve a chain of office. So the executive committee of the board of directors invited Matthew Holland, professor of jewelry and design, to design and fabricate such a chain. And so, Matthew? Matthew created this design through 3D metal work, and it is imbued with deep symbolism. And I believe is it on the screen above us? So, there. So it incorporates the presidential medallion, and there are also 8 secondary medals that reflect foundation, craft, liberal arts, the visual arts, and integrated media. So with this, I once again thank Grafton for his leadership, and please wear your new chain of office in good health. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Cynthia.
I'm sorry, I have to take this moment. Can I barge in 1 second?
Oh, okay.
I want to thank Michael Schwartz because it was really his inspiration. And Michael, could you stand up, because it's your inspiration that led us to do this. So. Thank you. Now I will turn it over.
Okay. Well, thank you for this warm welcome and this beautiful bling. It's wonderful. And also for your tremendous leadership on our board of directors. What a wonderful and beautiful day this is today. Wonderful because of how special the event is, and nature was on our side. So it's really wonderful. Dear students, I can still call you that for a few more minutes at least. Let's take a special moment to honor your parents, your families, and your friends. It is sometimes easy to forget the sacrifices those most important to us have made to get us to this day. So we all must thank them today. Their care for you and love for you has been manifested in the last 4 years, and probably many more years before that. Years of support, both financial and emotional, as you found your vision and developed the discipline and skill to become artists and designers. They have given you an extraordinary gift, and you can acknowledge that gift by using your education to make an impact with your work. May I ask the parents and guardians of our graduates to stand for our appreciation. Next, we are honored to recognize your faculty. They have worked so hard this year and throughout your entire CIA career to educate you and to help you achieve excellence. I have seen their passion and commitment as they apply their knowledge, creative brilliance, and skill in teaching you. Seldom have I encountered such a dedicated faculty of talented artists, designers, and scholars. The quality of last week's BFA showcase is testament to your talent, craft, and expressiveness as inspired and shaped by this splendid faculty. Among the faculty here today are emeritus professors who devoted decades to fostering creative inquiry and rigorous practice. Faculty, this most recent 2017-2018 academic year has been a productive and creative one. You have worked tirelessly to bring out the best in your students, and you also found time to excel in your own work. Last summer, Tony Ingrasano and Jimmy Keenley spent 6 weeks in Japan for a residence at Shiro Oni Studios. They submerged themselves in the town and made work for an annual drum festival. Petra Sosman had a June residency at the Lucid Art Foundation in Inverness, California. Gary Sampson earned a Faculty Development Award to travel to Glasgow and to London. Matthew Holleran was commissioned to design and fabricate a medal for the Elizabeth Haub School of Law at Pace University in White Plains, New York. Kathy Biskevich had a ring acquired by the permanent collection of the Swiss National Museum in Zurich. And as we learned earlier this week, faculty members Christian Wolfen and Amber Kempthorne and technical specialist Erin Duig were selected by artistic director Michelle Grabner to have work in the Great Lakes Research, an exhibition by Front International in our own Reinberger Gallery. Darius Stewart, a 2008 CIA graduate, was also selected. I could go on and on. I am so proud of our outstanding faculty, and I ask them to please stand and be acknowledged. At this time, I would like to give special recognition to liberal arts faculty member Joyce Kessler, upon whom the board of directors at CIA recently voted to bestow emeritus status. Joyce began her career at CIA in 1994. She has spent the last academic year coordinating and writing for our upcoming NASAD accreditation evaluation, and this year retires from the college. I thank her for her years of outstanding service, and I wish her the best. Thank you, Joyce. Next, we must acknowledge members of the CIA staff who have provided essential support to you throughout your journey, from the admissions and final aid process through academic advising and library support, right up to planning of this wonderful celebration of your success. Please, please join me in thanking the CIA staff. Now, speaking of today's exercise, this is the first commencement in more than 3 decades that was not orchestrated by Karen Hootie, who retired last year from her position as registrar. Karen is here today for the first time as a guest, with no last-minute duties to perform or little fires to extinguish. Karen, we are so glad to have you here and to announce that we have selected to honor you as Registrar Emeritus. We are grateful for your long and distinguished service. I would like to take a moment to recall members of the CIA community who have passed away over the last year. Faculty member Dan Tranberg died May 29th of 2017. Students and colleagues of Dan will always remember the contributions Dan made as an artist and teacher, a writer and critic, as well as him being a generous spirit and friend. Veteran faculty member Ed Michkowski died June 23rd of 2017. Ed was a painter of international renown and a member of the CIA class of 1957. Kara Smith Stern was an emeritus member of the board of directors. She died in December of 2017, and CIA's painting studios are named in her honor. And now for our commencement speaker. We are pleased and honored that Kevin Geiger agreed to deliver an address to the Cleveland Institute of Art graduating class of 2018. When Kevin Geiger graduated from CIA in 1989 with a degree in painting, it would have been nearly impossible to predict his career trajectory. He had spent his 5 years here studying visual arts and sculpture, where he studied under Julian Stanzik and others. As Kevin will tell you, he left the CIA with skills that have served him well as he carved out a career in the entertainment arts. He has been an animator, visual effects supervisor, concept artist, consultant, educator, producer, and entrepreneur. Back in the early 90s, a post-CIA class in Photoshop ignited his interest and propelled him toward digital arts, and ultimately to studies at Ohio State University's Advanced Computing Center for the Arts and Design. He earned his MFA and headed west. He worked at Boss Film Studios in Los Angeles, creating digital creature effects for the film Species, then moved on to the Walt Disney Animation Studio in Burbank for 12 years. His Disney projects include being the CG supervisor on its first full CG feature, Chicken Little, and creating creature visual effects for Dinosaur and Reign of Fire. Over the past 10 years, Kevin has lived and raised his family in China. He was the first foreign professor at the Beijing Film Academy's animation school, co-founded Magic Dumpling Entertainment, and headed up Disney's Beijing creative team as it created entertainment specifically for the Chinese market, creating Disney's first original Chinese television co-production. His growing interest in immersive media led Kevin to a position as the founding director of Beijing Film Academy's International Animation and Virtual Research Center and vice dean of the Academy's new Digital Media School. These days, Kevin is back at Magic Dumpling Entertainment, developing animated features and projects that leverage immersive technology and creating children's books under his new company, Pee Wee Frog. Kevin is one of CIA's innumerable big success stories. So please join me in welcoming a member of CIA's class of 1989, Kevin Geiger.
Thank you so much. When I'm truly successful, I'll be able to just say, hi, I'm Willem Dafoe, and that will cover everything. But thank you, Grafton, for that gracious and detailed introduction. So I think, oh, there we are. 29 years, it's crazy, I think about this. 29 years ago, I was sitting, not literally where you are, this is a beautiful venue. It was in the gun building, I believe, in the auditorium there. But in my own graduation seat, that's me in my 1989 glory. I couldn't find bigger glasses. I tried really hard, but those were the largest I could get. My parents were, I'm a tech guy, as you can tell. Let's just go with this. There we go. This is my parents' terrified face. They were very proud of me. It was a happy moment, but also they were filled with certain trepidations, you might say, wondering what the future was going to bring. Many of you here may be wondering the same thing. The students, soon-to-be graduates, parents, family, friends. And I want to share a little bit of my own experience in terms of some things that I learned, a principle that I learned, and 3 subpoints that relate to that, which I think could bear on your own career as you go forward. And I specifically want to talk about the issue of what going forward means, because the idea of forward requires some flexible thinking. So as Grafton mentioned, I was a painting major, and samples of some of my work. As Julian Stancic said, I was not a colorist. It was just like yellow, okay, that's good, works for me. Working in the constructivist mode, Ed Mieszkowski was actually one of my instructors and really kicked my butt many times about what I was doing, especially when I got too whimsical, as I did in some of my sculptures. But I thought I was pretty hot stuff. I came out of school with a traveling scholarship. That's me on the lower left, I believe. And I had won all of the awards that you could win at the school, and I thought, all right, you know, I'm cool. And then Mo Brooker got on stage. He was giving the commencement speech in 1989. And kind of brought us all to reality. And Mo congratulated everybody. Mo, of course, as many of you know, is a wonderful artist of the region and international renown. And Mo got up on stage and he said, there were about 100 of us. There was about 100 of us in the graduating class. And Mo said, statistically, 1% of you will make your living solely as an artist with a capital A, as a practicing studio artist. 1% of you. So, yeah, there you go. And our parents were looking around like, now you tell us this information? And each of us students, myself included, were sitting there going, yes, that's gonna be me, that person. Well, guess what? It wasn't me. I was not the person from our class who became the artist with a capital A. I became other things, as Grafton alluded to. And I became those things through a process that I didn't set out intentionally to pursue, but I realized in retrospect I made good use of, which is to think laterally. And this is the one thing, the takeaway. I could stop right now and just say, think laterally, thank you, goodbye, and leave you with that. But I want to talk a little bit more about what that means and then give you 3 examples from my own career in terms of how that was applied. We often think of ourselves at any point in time as going forward. We want to go forward to our opportunities that are out there in front of us, to the job that we hope to get, to the next piece that we hope to do. And we think of this as a line, going from where we are to where we want to be, to our goal. But this idea of going forward or going upward or going onward is really an illusion. We have a sphere of opportunity, a sphere of activity around us. And the best path of action may not necessarily be what's in front of us, but things that are off to the side of us. Or perhaps even something that's behind you. And again, I'm saying this figuratively as opposed to literally, but sometimes maybe indeed literally behind you. When I graduated from the Institute, I came out with a degree in painting. And by going back to, and it sounds snobbish to say this, but I went to a community college to study for Photoshop, and I was embarrassed because, like, God, I'm a CIA traveling scholarship winner. What am I doing in a community college? Horror of horrors. My mom taught there, and she was like, "Don't be such a snob," and smacked me around and said, "It's good for you." And I learned Photoshop there, and that enabled me then to go forward to Disney, to Ohio State, where I studied computer graphics. They didn't have those courses at the time here at the Institute, even though now we have a fabulous animation program. At the time, that didn't exist. You know, we patted our dinosaurs on the head and got into our rockmobiles and came to the studio. But we were in the classic majors of painting, sculpture, etc. But that path from Ohio State then led me on to Disney. But that path may not lead you to the goal you think you want to go to, but something that's even better. Maybe there's a tangent that's near what you wanted to achieve, but slightly off to the side, and is more enriching and more rewarding than you could have imagined. So in terms of these three principles, I want to start with the first one, which is developing your talent stack. Anything you do, there are going to be people who are better than you at it and people who are worse. If you're a painter, you're an actor, what have you, a plumber. And where you really start to distinguish yourself is by combining certain abilities with other abilities and coming in with sort of like a Dagwood sandwich of skills that you can apply flexibly to different situations, and that combination distinguishes you from other people who may be in that same realm. So for me, being inspired by Luxo Jr., Pixar's animated short film, this was kind of the kick in the pants to go back and learn things that I didn't know, like computer graphics, and even to learn computer graphics to back up further to programming, computer programming, and math. I mean, I was not a math guy in high school. I heard it was important, but it wasn't really of interest to me. But these were things that I needed to learn to add to my talent stack to go into computer graphics and then to use that as a way to get my degree, my MFA at Ohio State, and get my entree into Hollywood, which Grafton has always mentioned, so I won't go into detail. But working at Boss Film on Species, this is actually funny. The day I came to Boss Film Studios, they were still doing practical effects. So they were doing digital, but they also had physical models, and on Species, there was a scene where there were these two aliens in a water tank. They had people dressed in wetsuits with hoses in a water tank having sex, because this was an alien wet dream sequence. And I'm walking into Boss Film my first day, and I see these two people in alien suits, like, gada, gada, gada. And I was like, man, my parents would be so proud of me right now. I've made it, right? Water splashing everywhere. But I moved on to more wholesome fare at the Walt Disney Studios on Fantasia, Dinosaur, etc. Chicken Little, as Grafton mentioned. And then my own work. Scratching that itch to continue to do my own creative work with short films like Henry's Garden. This would not have been possible if I had not continued to supplement and educate myself in different ways to meet the new challenges. The digital industry was booming, right? Things were turning on their head in Hollywood, as many people here know, in terms of some people losing their jobs and some people acquiring jobs, but it really was predicated upon whether you were staying fleet of foot in terms of what you were learning and how you were growing. I'm not a member of the Avengers, and I'm not an anarchist. The A stands for Animation Options. That was my consulting company about 10 years ago. I have this slide up because it represents the continued education and the continued insertion into that talent stack that I had to do for producing, for consulting, for learning legal terms so I can deal with a contract and not be a lawyer, but at least understand what the lawyers were talking about. Improv, that's me with my butt in the air on stage, to be comfortable speaking and to be comfortable dealing with unpredictable situations. So all of this stuff adding to my stack, and then I come back to Cleveland one year for a visit, and I catch up with this guy, Julian Stancic. And Julian was one of my painting mentors, kind of sort of like the painting mentor, and a sweet, sensitive, terrifying man who, if any of you know him, you know what I'm talking about. I remember one day Julian came into my studio and he looked at one of my paintings and he just stared at it and stared at it. And then he said, "That one?" He said, "Not bad." And then I had to push my luck, right? I said, "Hey, Mr. Stancic, how about this one over here?" And he looked at it and he said, "Poop." And then he walked out of my studio. So I learned, don't press your luck. Take the win and just stop there. But I mentioned that story because I was terrified of his opinion of what I was doing. Like I was this sellout who had abdicated the fine arts and was in Hollywood and just like this crass representation of everything that Julian probably, I thought, hated. And I was chatting with him and he's asking me what I was doing. And he had this silly smile on his face. And I thought to myself, I was kind of shocked. And he said, "I'm so happy for you and I'm so proud of you." And I was just stunned. And he said, "Kevin," he said, "when you talk about what you're doing," he said, "I see your passion right? I see how happy you are. And he said, this makes me so happy, he said of himself. To see that light in your eyes, he said, you've found what fits you, what suits you. You're on the right path. And I was kind of blown away by that. But that, again, made an impression on me because I realized that Julian didn't want me to be any one particular thing except myself. And that's really something that all of you should take away, is that you only have to be yourself, and you only should be yourself. And that self will constantly be evolving and changing, but you have at any moment to look at your own self to be true to who you are and who you want to be, not what anybody else wants you to be or thinks you should be, or what you think other people think you should be. So the second point related to all this, take calculated risks. You notice this person appears to be trained, they're focusing on where they're landing, they've got equipment, right? They're not just jumping off a building. It's a calculated risk. It's a dangerous occupation that they're engaged in, but in a calculated way. For me, going to China, I guess this wasn't even a calculated risk. This was like jumping off a building. When I went to China, I just kind of went without any real conception of what that was going to be like or what I was going to do. But I very quickly found myself in a situation where that talent stack really came in handy, especially the improv. Being able to think on your feet, adjust to rapidly evolving situations, meeting different people. You see there's different faculty and politicians and producers behind me who I would have to deal with as we were trying to create content in China. And when I went over, I didn't go over as a Disney guy. I went over on my own, independently, to do my own films. And this led to a certain amount of notoriety within China in the press as this crazy foreigner who's trying to, make films in China and talk about quality and intellectual property. What is that? And really get some traction with the Chinese market in terms of something that's Chinese, facilitated by a foreigner, but of international quality. Magic Dumpling Entertainment was a company that I founded with my colleagues to really sort of get this rolling. And this led to our opportunity to go to Disney, for me the second time, for them the first, in China, developing local content for the Chinese market. So we were building a team from scratch, educating them in the properties, the principles rather, of the creative process, the Disney process, but adapting it to China. We weren't just trying to shoehorn Western principles into the Asian market, but to adapt them flexibly to what audiences and also the officials were looking for and would allow. And the culmination of this, the culmination of the talent stack, the calculated risks, for me, was being able to take, it's called Banjing Baliang in Chinese, which translates to the pot calling the kettle black. Chip and Nick are their English names. The Stone Lion buddy comedy that premiered on CCTV. It was Disney's first TV co-production ever, which was cool. A lot of work, a lot of hell to get that out. As any of you know who have made any kind of work, painting to a film, it's not easy. But it was really rewarding to see this finally come about. And none of this was planned. I didn't leave CIA in 1989 thinking, oh, well, I'm going to think laterally, and I'm going to cultivate my talent stack, and then I'm going to take a calculated risk, and that should result in this. But by going down that path, by going down and pursuing this process, one thing led to another, and in an adaptive fashion, I was able to capitalize on that. There were many things that didn't work, but the things that did led to situations and to opportunities that I found very rewarding, and that were rewarding for other people who I worked with. So then wrapping this up, life will throw unexpected curves at you. The unexpected curve for me was having a child at age 50, which is something I never thought would happen, and then really needing to change my game at that point because I wanted to spend more time with my family, my wife, my child. This led me to make another lateral move away from Disney into immersive media, which sounds counterintuitive, but it was a way for me to continue to work. My daughter looks thrilled though, right? She was a way to work from home, to work independently, to spend time with the family, but also to really engage myself in something that I saw coming up, which was the third wave of VR. When I was in graduate school in the 90s, I was privy to the second wave, which didn't work out, but I did some dabbling in that. The first wave was back in the 60s, some of you may know. And this third wave, hopefully, will actually have some traction in terms of people like yourselves finding entertainment opportunities, not only creative, but also in terms of consumption that will lead to a fruitful market. But I embraced this whole hog and re-educated myself, essentially, in immersive media, started speaking on the topic. My second daughter was born, because why not? And when that happened, I really started to get serious about doing something for the kids. You know, they don't care so much about the technology, but I've got these kids, I'm watching them grow. How can I do something that really leverages on the learning process I'm having as a father, a late life father, with these children, and then turn that into some content that can be appreciated by them and by others? And that's what led me to Pee-wee Frog, to publish my own children's books, primarily for my own children, but ultimately for children around the world. My third and last point, creativity is currency. Everything is not about money, but of course money and resources are important, so I just want to address this. This slide is intentionally blank. As artists, you guys are ahead of the game. You may think, and many people think, oh, art school, that's where you just kind of fool around and do whatever you like, and then you get out, and then the real world hits you, right? Well, no. Our world is full of uncertainty. Even jobs that people think are secure, I'm gonna go get a real job, a secure job, nothing is secure anymore. You guys know this. People get laid off. Even when people are in a job that they like and they don't get laid off, the turnover from their own desire to move on is more rapid and iterative than ever before, right? Life is uncertain. The path is uncertain. You guys wrestle with uncertainty every single day. The blank canvas, the ball of clay, the empty computer screen, and you fill that empty space with your ideas, your concepts, your thoughts. You generate something from nothing, and you do this all the time. And it's a gut-wrenching experience. You don't know how things are gonna turn out. 90% of the time, stuff doesn't turn out, right? But 10% of the time, you get something that's worthwhile, and maybe 1% of the time, you strike gold. And you're a generator. You're not reliant on other people for opportunities. You're gonna be creating opportunities. And this comes from your education here at the school, your creative education, the eye that you have, the brain that you have. So I want to encourage you all, don't chase money. Don't be this hamster in a wheel, but let money chase you. Pursue your passion. Pursue what you love, just like Julian taught me, like the other teachers here taught me. When you pursue what you love, the opportunities follow. The satisfaction, at the very least, follows, right? The sense that you're doing something that is right for you and that is rewarding for yourself. So in closing, I want to, has anybody here received Oh, the Places You'll Go as a graduation gift? Yes? Okay, cool. I highly recommend it. Dr. Seuss, there's a page here that has some parting words for you that I'd like to share. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the one who will decide where to go. You are the one who will decide where to go. So think laterally, follow your passion, and the sky is the limit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin, for that enlightening perspective on life and what lies ahead. Now, we're here to announce a special award, the Schreckengost Award. We're grateful for all the efforts of the dedicated men and women who teach and have taught at the Cleveland Institute of Art. In 2000, CAA established an award in honor of the late artist and industrial designer, Victor Schreckengost, a 1929 graduate of the college who was a faculty member here for almost 70 years, and I'm privileged to have had him as a mentor myself. Victor was the first recipient of this award, which is presented to current and former faculty from the Cleveland Institute of Art in recognition of teaching excellence. Nominations are accepted from the entire CAA community, faculty, former faculty, alumni, students, and friends. This year, the award goes to 2 recipients. Paul Travis was born in Wellsville, Ohio in 1891. At age 22, he enrolled at the Cleveland School of Art, now the Cleveland Institute of Art, where he was mentored by painter Henry Keller. After graduating from CAA with an illustration degree in 1917, he fought in World War I, where he sketched and painted throughout Europe. In 1920, he joined the faculty of CIA, where he taught for 38 years. In 1928, Paul embarked on an extensive African travel sponsored by Cleveland Arts Organizations, which produced a dynamic series of visual works of African landscapes and animals. Numerous Cleveland cultural institutions received artifacts and work he collected along the way. Paul's artwork regularly appeared in the Cleveland Museum of Art's annual May Show, where he was also a perennial award winner. Today, we are proud to acknowledge Paul's service to CIA and his extraordinary artistic career and add him to the roster of Schreckengost awardees. We are honored that Paul's grandson, John Henry Dreyfus, is here to represent the family. And would he come up and accept an award? Thank you. No?
We'll get the award too.
Well, it is here. Our second Schreckengost Award recipient of the day is Nancy McEntee, professor and chair of photography and video department. Nancy earned her BFA in photography here at the Cleveland Institute of Art and went on to earn her Master of Fine Arts degree in photography from Bard College. Her current photographic work is an extended portrait that explores the complexities of the mother-daughter relationship, incorporates temporality, re-examination, and transition. Anchored in the family snapshot, these images construct narratives that combine the present, the remembered, and the ambiguous area between memory and fiction. Nancy is a recipient of the Creative Workforce Fellowship and an Ohio Arts Council Individual Artist Fellowship. She was awarded a residency at the Burren College of Art in County Clare, Ireland, and twice received a Virginia Center for the Creative Arts Fellowship. Her work can be found in many public and private collections, including Heineken International and the Cleveland Clinic Foundation. Today, we add Nancy McEntee's name to the list of Schreckengost Teaching Award winners on the plaque in the gun building lobby. Nancy, please come and accept your medal, and congratulations.
Thank you, Doug. As I reflect on how I came to be standing here today as a recipient of the Victor Schreckengost Teaching Award, I think about the importance of legacy. Beginning with my beloved Cleveland Institute of Art faculty, art professors, Robert Palmer and Dennis Buck. Sorry. On my first day of teaching an evening photo class many years ago, I was knowingly apprehensive, and they both just happened to stay late in the department that evening after their long day of teaching. That small gesture of support meant the world to me. That spirit of collaboration and teamwork, coupled with the expectation of excellence, hard work, and critical inquiry, is what Victor Schreckengost modeled, and what I learned here as both a student and a faculty member. And that is what I have tried to pass on to our students and share with my colleagues. Whatever success I've achieved here at CIA, I've achieved because of the support of my family, the administration, the staff, and my unbelievably dedicated colleagues, all of whom deserve to share this award with me. I also share this award with you, the talented, creative students who challenge and inspire me every day. You are all the reason that I stand here today. The great art educator, Sister Corita Kent, and her students created a set of 10 rules for students and teachers as a guideline for developing an artistic practice. I will paraphrase number 7, show up and do the work. If you remember one thing from today's events, I hope it is that. It is incredibly affirming to be acknowledged for my teaching, and I'm humbled and honored to be a recipient of this award. And with that, I will take my husband's advice and follow the words of FDR in regards to public speaking. Be sincere, be brief, be seated. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Now I'd like to introduce this year's student commencement speaker, Jackie Evers. Jackie. Jackie is earning her BFA in graphic design and begins the next chapter of her life with a strong sense of professionalism well in place. She came to CIA already having earned her associate's degree in marketing, and her biggest issue to start was how to narrow down her focus. She loves medicine, science, music, and above all, learning. Early in her graphic design courses, she realized that the work involves learning enough about her clients' fields to deliver a strong design. That suits Jackie's natural curiosity and gives her a reason for her lifelong learning. Jackie has earned numerous awards and scholarships during her time here at CIA, and she is co-founder of Pitsy, a natural deodorant designed to leave out ingredients linked to cancer. So please give us a warm welcome in joining Nancy. I'm sorry. Jackie. Getting confused.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm really happy to be here today with friends and family from near and far, faculty, lab techs, security, illustrative alumni from CIA, and finally my fellow classmates to celebrate this huge achievement in our lives. All right, I think that just about covers the cliche graduation introduction. So I guess I want to start off by having everyone just look around the space that we're in right now. Notice like the architectural details, and it's a really beautiful space. So, you know, someone who went to art school helped design this. What about that movie you saw the other day? That was the creation of a film student. You know that really cool sports car you've been drilling over, hoping to save up for one day? An industrial designer imagined that up. Or what about when you traveled to New York and used the subway map to navigate your whereabouts? Or that American greetings card you picked out because you needed one last-minute gift to celebrate someone's art school graduation. Art and design are vessels for communicating deep ideas and bringing people together to look at the world in a different way. And art is everywhere. I mean, from the entertainment we consume to the products that we use every single day. It makes life more enjoyable and interesting. Sometimes it helps form a product which is just so integral to your life, like the smartphone in your pocket right now. Or it just brings us joy sometimes and makes you totally awestruck at the capabilities of humanity. Art and design is a vessel for communicating deep ideas and bringing people together to look at the world in a different way. But why is it that when you tell people that you've decided to go to art school, they just get this crazy concerned look in their eye? Like every semblance of logic and practicality just kind of went out the window. Some phrases I'm sure you've heard. So what are you actually gonna do for a career? Better get used to eating a ramen diet every day. But you're so good at so many other things. You know the list. All of my classmates gathered here today had the chutzpah to face the negative stigma surrounding art school and pursue their dreams. We came here knowing that the Cleveland Institute of Art would push us to our limits intellectually, knowing that we would be surrounded by bright and quirky minds. We came here to Cleveland with all of its Rust Belt grit and spirit to grow in a city that we would call home for 4 years. As I look around, I think about where we all started when we first came here. I really had no idea what we're getting ourselves into. Whether these years at CIA have been challenging, fun, stressful, or entertaining, or really whatever other adjective you would use, they've shaped us. CIA has taught us how to manage our money, manage our time, and our stress levels. CIA has made us critical in the best way possible. We can no longer just look at something casually, and you have no idea how many times I've encountered a really bad UX design on my phone and be like, oh my God, who designed this? And you know, we're always striving for the best. We work hard, we pay attention, and we get it done. And this is what CIA has taught us. We do what we have to do and we make it work, and those aren't things that are learned easily. And because of CIA, we know how to deal with pressure, how to think on our feet, and now we can handle anything that the world throws at us. For the past few years, we've been on a hamster wheel of work. From our 7-hour classes to pulling all-nighters, practically slapping ourselves to stay awake, we've survived X-Acto blade accidents, tough critiques, power outages during BFA week, multiple polar vortices, and many, many more things. We've learned how to balance multiple projects and the time commitment it takes to create something that's really great. And we've learned how to problem solve when something goes wrong. And let's face it, something always goes wrong. And we've learned the importance of staying constantly curious, solving complex problems, using our voice, and never settling for commonplace. Today, the class of 2018 comes together for one last hurrah, the end of one journey and the beginning of many more. To quote Leo Burnett, "Curiosity about life in all of its aspects is still the secret to all great creative people." It's important that we remember to continue asking questions and remain devoted to learning more about the world, about ourselves, and how we can improve both. While our time at CIA has provided us with the tools and power to create important things that we can really change the world with, I mean, not to sound cliche, but it really means nothing if we do nothing. The world is fraught with problems, and the only people who can solve them are not only the ones that can ask what those problems are, but also why and how they exist, how to solve for them, and why those solutions might work. We must question the institutions we inhabit and the spaces we occupy, and work to change them for the better. Today, I want us to leave knowing the immense power and privilege we possess by being CIA graduates, and to use that to challenge others to change the world. We came here to be ambitious and brilliant, but we leave better than before, with many answers and even more questions. The very first step to changing the world is to simply ask. And congratulations to my classmates, and let's celebrate after everyone gets their name called.
Thank you, Jackie. I speak on behalf of the faculty and staff here today when I tell you that I could not be more proud of all that you have accomplished, and I look forward to seeing what your future holds. Congratulations. And now, my charge is directed to our graduating seniors. For you, this is the last time that you, the class of 2018, gather together as students of CIA. And this is the first time you embark on your journey as alumni of this beloved school. It is a moment of excitement over the special nature of this day, profound satisfaction for a job very well done by all those gathered here today, and joyful hope for a future of creativity and achievement. And of course, there is maybe just a little bit of plain old-fashioned fear as you venture forth to apply your education and as you strive to give 2- and 3-dimensional form to the vision you have developed here, a vision derived from how you have learned to see the world as it is and how you imagine that it could be. But fear not, you are well educated and you are highly prepared to enter the world of art and design and to make it your own. A treasury of talent, time, and tuition has been invested by you and your families to make these years at CIA not only possible, but also to make these years valuable and fulfilling. We have shared so many CIA experiences over the years. You were the first class to live in our brand new Uptown Residence Hall and the last to experience classes in our former George Gund building on East Boulevard. Some of you had work juried into the Student Independent Exhibition. Several of you have taught art classes in Cleveland elementary schools through the Introduction to Art Education course. Some of you were the first to participate in the Drawn to Care course, drawing portraits of kidney dialysis patients and demonstrating, in the process, the impact that socially engaged art can have on challenged members of the Cleveland community. You have learned professional practices both here and through countless internship experiences in the public and private sector. Some of you produced films for the Planetarium Project, or sold your graphic novels at a comics convention, or fired your ceramics in our wood-burning kiln. You participated in service trips to New Orleans and made trips to New York and Chicago to visit galleries, studios, and museums. Your time here has been full of challenge and accomplishment, tragedy and triumph, intensity and fascination. Every time I walk through your studios and see the work you have created in this special place, I am thrilled and proud to lead this institution. So, as you venture forth to create your careers, please remember that you have built a community of peers here. You have gathered a virtual family in your years at CIA. I urge you to maintain and cherish those relationships with your fellow graduates in the years to come. But please do not forget that we who remain at CIA long to maintain our relationships with you as well, to hear of your successes and even share in your disappointments. Our relationship does not end today. Oh no, it simply evolves. At CIA, you have learned to honor your tools as well as your materials, and I would ask you to remember that chief among these tools is your health. Please preserve your physical instrument so that your creative career can be long and fruitful. I believe that the experience of art and design touches us and makes us truly human. It arises from our compulsion to construct some sort of order, to reveal some sort of unity in the apparent chaos around us, and in doing so, feel connection, wonder, and peace. Art is a human mechanism through which we fulfill our need to understand and improve our lot in life, both emotionally and aesthetically. I believe that everything we do here is art, and this art, writ large, is both necessary and inevitable. To devote one's life to this pursuit is a profoundly hopeful act. Therefore, as I address you as a group for the last time, I feel compelled to remind you of what I said the first time I addressed you. I ask you to create works that make people comfortable with being uncomfortable. I charge you to celebrate difference, to continue to develop in yourselves and promote in others the critical openness to quest and to question, to express yourselves with courage, honesty, complexity, and clarity, and to constantly recreate yourselves and your work. Using your talent and craft as artists and designers, please continue to ask, what if and why not? And by so doing, you will shape the world. Thank you. I now invite Cynthia Gascoigne back to the podium to announce some very special awards.
And now it's my privilege to announce the honors bestowed upon our graduates. These awards are made in recognition of outstanding achievement by talented student artists. Recipients are selected by the faculty based on merit and/or demonstrated financial need. And these honors today and awards represent only a portion of the over $11 million of scholarships and other form of financial aid that the college has awarded to students across all classes. Scholarships are central to the college's ongoing efforts to ensure continued advancement, and we are particularly grateful to those who have generously supported our students through these scholarship gifts. Students, when I call your name, please stand and stay standing long enough so your parents and friends and family can take photos of you. So we begin. First, the Otto F. Egge Memorial Award is presented to a graduating student who has maintained an interest in scholarly and intellectual activities comparable to his or her artistic achievements. This year's Egge Memorial Award is presented to Allison Hollabo. Allison? Outstanding Senior Student Awards are presented to those graduating students who've made contributions to the CIA community through service and participation in college events and organizations while maintaining a high level of academic performance. The Outstanding Senior Student Awards are presented this year to Juliana Madalena and Madison Moran. 11 Cleveland Institute of Art students were represented in the Association of Independent Colleges and Universities of Ohio Excellent in the Visual Arts competition. Graduating senior Alexandra Overbeck was among the finalists. Alexandra? And now for the President's Traveling Scholarships. Through generous benefactors, the Cleveland Institute of Art provides the following awards for further travel, study, and the stimulation of creative efforts. We are probably the only college of art and design that actually hands students money on their way out the door. And it's a wonderful tradition each year that allows a very select group of CIA graduates to pursue their interests well beyond Cleveland. These awards were announced last week at the BFA reception, but we would like one more opportunity to congratulate each of the award winners. So please stand after your name is called. The first Agnes Gunn Memorial Scholarship is awarded to Kaylee Solzano. Kaylee? The second Agnes Gunn Memorial Scholarship goes to Alicia Hazzett. Alicia? And the third Agnes Gunn Memorial Scholarship to Allison Hollabaugh. Allison? The Helen Green Perry Traveling Scholarship is awarded to Michael Mentz. Michael? The Mary C. Page Memorial Scholarship goes to Sydney Givens. Sydney, please stand. And finally, the Nancy Dunn Memorial Scholarship to Morgan Mansfield. Morgan, please stand. A hearty congratulations to all our winners, and we will now present degrees assisted by the department heads. I call Matthew Smith, Director of Student Life, to take care of this part of the program.
Thank you, Ms. Gascoigne. I invite you to join President Nunes, Mr. Page, Mr. Geiger, and the faculty chair people at the diploma table to receive the graduates. I am honored to announce the candidates for the degree. Will the first row of candidates please proceed to the stage? Sajjad Ahmad Ali. Noah Cutright. Chelsea Friedman. Elisa Hassett. Carolyn Merkline. Zachary Owens. Ronald Pignato. Rakshit Shrivastava, sorry. Bowen Soon. Jimmy Taylor. Christopher Troyer. In the Department of Game Design, Stuart Collins. Spencer Everhart. Summit Hino. Alexander Suropatowski. Ocean Young. Yuhao Zhou. In the Department of Biomedical Art, Michelle Allen. Rebecca Bammert. Ian Philo. Courtney Fleming. Lauren Hugdahl. Danyi Chu. Kelly Slazen. Thomas Thornton. In the Department of Glass, Heather Clancy. Katie Ferguson. Angela Kautenberger. Mike Mentz. In the Department of Graphic Design, Holly Baumgartner. Sarah Bicknell. Eric Burton. Tony Camacho. Vanessa Del Santer. Jacqueline Evers. Jasmine Frangos. Zachary Golenberg. Heather Hargrove. Lauren Kwan. Angelina Marsh. Anna Zarlinga. In the Department of Illustration, Susanna Angel. Daryl Cokes II. Connor Crabb. Lucille Ertle. Joseph Frankhauser. Andrea Hatvani. Stephanie Haught. Aislinn Hearn. Adele Hicksonbaugh. Richard Kolar Jr. Marissa Kreckler. Emily Linville. Junsei Liu. Melissa Luddy. Julia Madalena. Josephine McGee. Megan McCollum. Victoria Patterson. Livian Sieg. Lo Yin Su. Winan Soon. Miranda Van Atta. In the Department of Technology and Integrated Media, Flora Sandy. In the Department of Industrial Design, Steve Aveton. David Benman. Owen Davenport. Jisheng Fang. Xin Gao. Jiasheng He. Justin Hobbs. Xuan Ji. Joseph Kostelik, Jr. Jinyu Lao. Sheng Lu. Yaiping Ma. Jack McCarley. Derek Morell. Zhenxing Nu. Alexander Palusik. Jihad Ramdeen. Brandon Rodriguez. Mindy Rollins. Linmin Sheng. Mazhar Uday Purwala. Ginikanwa Uzekbu. Hansai Wang. Jingde Zheng. In the Department of Interior Architecture. We gotta wait for cast changes here. Frederick Astacio. Richard Lay. Brock Lukat. Alicia Luzetti. Iling Nye. Brett Poremba. Edna Strauser. In the Department of Jewelry and Metals, Sydney Givens. Allison Hollabaugh. Madison Moran. Elijah Studd. Megan Sweeney. In the Department of Photography, Cynthia Anderson Holmes. Andrew Burrent. Jeanette Coker. Elizabeth Wallace. Cassandra Wolf. With dual majors in printmaking and drawing, Amira Cunningham. Joseph Gurgen III. In the Department of Drawing, Davon Brantley. Orlando Caraballo. Megan McNamara. With dual majors in drawing and painting, Alexandra Overbeck. In the Department of Painting, Megan Dartis. Kayla Fee. Morgan Mansfield. Samantha Rafferty. Austin Turner. And in the Department of Sculpture and Expanded Media, Kaylee Selzano. President Nunes will now confer the degrees.
Will all the candidates for the degree please rise? It is a privilege for me to speak as a representative of this distinguished faculty of artists and designers who have committed themselves to your success and lent to your efforts their expertise and their dedication. We congratulate you on having met the challenge of a rigorous curriculum and having earned, with your own dedication, the recognition now being conferred. Upon recommendation of the faculty, and by authority vested in me by the Board of Directors of the Cleveland Institute of Art and the laws of the state of Ohio, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts with all the honors, rights, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Graduates, you may turn your tassels and join the ranks of illustrious CIA alumni as its newest members. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2018. This concludes our program this morning. All who are here are invited back to the college's Gund building on Euclid Avenue for a reception in honor of our graduates. One important note, our friends with the Maltz Performing Arts Center require that our cars all be out of this parking lot so that they may prepare for another event. So, whether you're coming back to CIA for our reception or plan to explore around University Circle, you will need to move your car after you leave this building. As we exit the auditorium, the graduates will leave first, followed by the faculty and the stage party. Our guests are asked to remain seated until these groups have exited. Thank you for sharing with us in celebration the class of 2018. Congratulations and enjoy your day.